What's up, everybody? This is Colin Dijs, and in this video, we'll explain to you the fastest way to make money with native advertising. The hot topic right now. I'm here with one of my coaches, Ross McFarlane, and today we'll discover how everything works. How are you doing, Ross?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. The little write-up. I'll do a little bit of a screen share so we can just map it out. For everybody who doesn't know, for our agency, I take the high-level clients, anybody over 10,000 a month, 20,000, 100,000 net spend, and Ross takes care of most of the beginners. So that's why he's here today, to bring a different insight on the native advertising aspect. Well, we want the fastest way, right? Because that's important. Everybody wants it fast. Why do you think, Ross, everybody wants the money fast?
Everybody wants money fast because everybody wants instant gratification. Nobody wants to put in the work.
But can we put in the work and still make it fast? Probably, if you follow the three-step system, right? We got testing, optimization, scaling, right? What would you say would be the ideal time frame that somebody would be able to create consistently profitable campaigns? If, let's say, this is a full-time gig.
Starting from a complete beginner?
Yeah, let's say at least some internet marketing experience. I don't think any person that we guide or coach has no experience, you know, but there is at least some to it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, going through, if you've got some internet marketing experience, you know what a good offer is. You know how to write a bit of copy, look for a good image and stuff. You can be up and running within first campaign, within a week, if you do the proper due diligence.
Well, another question, how long would you think it takes to create consistently profitable campaigns?
Consistently profitable.
That would be the fastest way, right? The fastest way. That's what they want to know. I would say 90 days,
yeah, I mean,
probably. No?
Yeah.
90 days would make sense, I think.
Yeah.
Solely because then you have, this is basically 3 months, right? For anybody who doesn't know math. Testing phase divided up through, let's say, two-based theory, a two-part theory. Yes, we have, what we have, Russ? 2 theories that we use.
Testing images.
Yes. So let's say 10K impression rule, right? Let's just put it there.
Yeah.
Okay, and how is that? That's probably, we draft 1 angle, 3 sub angles, how many headlines?
10 headlines per sub angle.
This is basic shit, guys. Like, we do this all the time. Everybody who joins the coaching will go through this initial process. Images?
Images, yeah. So per sub angle, you're looking at least probably 15 to 20 images per sub angle.
I think this is the cool aspect, you know. We talk about fast, not necessarily fast money with native advertising. We talk about how to make the fastest money with native advertising, like the literal process behind it. I see a lot of guys that the general theory on native is, you know, take 2 headlines, 2 images, look for the initial traction, right? Some big other YouTubers follow this strategy. Some old school native advertising gurus follow this advertising strategy. So when a lot of people come to us, it is quite refreshing because we have more labor intensive approach, right? We do a lot of work. But I just want to explain why we do this work, you know? What do you reckon is like the, let's say we pick MGID, who's like a cost per click bidding strategy exchange.
Yeah.
What's the average ICTR we see on the first campaign run?
So 1 client coming in and then on their campaign?
Yeah, well, we'll see from the guys right now. You know,
yeah.
You have Tony, you have Kevin, like the whole bunch.
Yeah,
what I have.
Definitely looking at below 1%.
Yeah, okay, so sub 1%, that's what I would say as well, sub 1%. And then they do the improvements and all this stuff, and don't think it's gonna be crazy, right? It's probably gonna end up as a goal point, 1.5, between 2.5, and then usually it's around 1.8, right? 2.5 is hardly ever being achieved on such an exchange as MGID. You would have to go to Nativo to go like 4 or 5% kind of ICTR, like the higher quality, but also very high CPM, right?
Yeah, Sure.
If this sounds like gibberish to you, you definitely should not be looking for the fastest way to make money. You should have an understanding of the native approach. But this is good. So this is basically what we follow. In the testing phase, we have an additional rule. So the two-part theory is one time 10,000 impressions, and the other one is CPA rule, right? So let's say you would have to draft one angle, 3 sub-angles, 10 headlines. If you are somewhat of an experienced media buyer, maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, 1 hour.
To come up with that, yeah?
Yeah, I think that would be decent, no? I think the images take a little bit longer because you would have to search for the right fit here. So I'll just type below this 1 hour. And for the images, maybe 2 hours, no? Like 2 to 3 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I think
you really want to get that right fit.
If you feel your offer, if you align with your offer, and it comes a lot more naturally, easier to find images, easier to
definitely
copy. I think if you're resisting the offer, like if you're not really feeling it, like things just become much more difficult and a lot more resistance is created.
All right, let's hop in a question I get a lot then, because you want to talk about the fastest way to make money with native advertising, which is great, but then the offers, right? You mentioned before the offers, if you know how to select good offers, what would be, let me go into testing and then offers. What would be some metrics that you would say are important when selecting offers?
So first thing I would look at is the time of year. I'd want to be picking, if I wouldn't be picking a seasonal offer, like I wouldn't be picking something in the summer that only sells in the winter, or vice versa. So I'll be looking at that. I'd maybe take a look at my geo and maybe look at the behavior patterns within that geo. And because I wouldn't want to start promoting something that particular geo has a culture that doesn't kind of buy into that type of offer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is the creative aspect, yeah?
Yeah.
So you have, okay, so then you have seasonal, geo, audience behavior pattern, ABP, and you have like religion, culture, politics, right? The big triad. So I'll just write down triad. It's like, okay. Then I would say I will cover the other side myself, which is metrics, right? We obviously have EPC, right? Yep. However, EPC is not global EPC, it's specifically for the source that you run. So if you look at the network, you'll get global EPC, but it's not what we want. We want the direct EPC, yep, right? For the specific source. So your account manager can help you with this. We want, for example, approval rates on leads, conversions on first-time deposits. We want additional metrics in the deep funnel. So also just deep funnel, but I mean deep funnel metrics, right? When you use a call center, what are the working hours? What is this? What is that? You know, what is the approval rate on the cash on delivery offers? How long is the time spent on the IVR? Those are all quite important metrics for you to understand to select a certain offer. Payout, I would say, is irrelevant. It's everything is in earnings per click. Payout is a very adjustable metric, right? It's if you don't have anything else, then, but by itself, it doesn't say anything. And then I would say personal feel, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say that one, yeah, gut feel, yeah.
You know, if you don't know anything about fishing, then selling fishing lures is probably not the best idea. You know what I'm saying? Because you wonder why people throw plastic toys in the water and catch fish and then not eat them, but release them. It kind of doesn't make sense, but for them it does. It's about the thrill of the hunt, I guess. But this is basically, I would take this into consideration, but I say it's quite natural. You know, if it's summertime, you're not going to sell snow shovels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So on the metric side, I think this is the part where people have to spend a lot more time to actually understand, especially this part. Like, can you actually portray yourself as the audience, or do you think you know the audience? Those are two different things. Right. Remember the other day I was asking Murat, you know, he had like the toe fungus campaign on the coaching chat. I just told him, you know, how many people actually suffer from this? He's like, oh, I don't know, I didn't check. Well, it's like 22% of males and 17% of females. There's a large portion of the audience, right? Comparable to like diabetes, which is quite interesting because toe fungus is like the yellow chalk nails.
Yeah. I've seen it.
I know you have it, but I don't have it, so I wouldn't know. But it's mad gross, right? And he sent me images this morning while I was eating my oatmeal. I was like, "What? It's fucking nasty," you know. But that is, I would say, an important metric. Like Statista is one of my favorite websites. I can pull it up. I've been staking some crypto. Statista. Where you can just basically search for a lot of things, which use like, let's say diabetes, and then diabetes in the US, and you can search by cases, hospitals, deaths, numbers of US Americans with diabetes by age group, and what you get is you get a complete charts and shit. And you can download it and all that stuff. It's one of my favorite websites ever. And it's all publicly available information. It goes into extreme detail on a lot of different NATO countries, I believe. So yes, that's absolutely killer for research. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not anal about just like being information gatherer. You know, you don't want to over process information, but you do want to understand it well. It's a very important part of the process. So Ross answering this for you. There we go.
Yeah, a good bit of finding a good offer as well is like market research. Do you know what I mean? Like in that website you were just on there probably some killer statistics that you can use on a lander, on a pre-lander.
Yeah, probably, but that would go into like the copywriting of things, right? But people should, it's just theoretical. But yeah, I would say definitely spend, if you're not creative by yourself, because it's hard to understand it when you're not feeling it, you know what I'm saying? So the power of what actually you have available. Okay, so that's testing completed, right? Quite basic, as is. Then the optimization, all you have to do is repeat the CPA rule. And then for scaling, optimization, you just turn off what doesn't work. And for scaling, it's just increasing bits and reach opportunities, right? Yes. So, and then, okay. For other elements that are important, you would say like overall theory.
You're asking me?
Yeah. Because this looks quite simple, but in by itself, it's not that simple.
Yeah. Always looks simple. Yeah. So, which part? Optimization, CPU rule. I would say a big part of running a campaign is not to get emotional. Stick to the rules.
I wanted to say this, but I was kind of like, this is a strong one. I actually spoke with Michael, and I didn't really want to do it, but he's adding into our product inventory, like I call it therapy, but he calls it like mindset coaching. So people who join the coaching program can do like half an hour a week of like emotional decision-making structuring.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do it on like, we can just focus on the media buying. So I was complaining to him, like all these people want to do is talk about their life, and I just want to talk about media buying. So yeah, for us, it's another opportunity. And for him, it's, I call it therapy because that's basically what it is. Okay, so this structure is basic. Okay, now the biggest hurdles then is emotion, right? By itself, media buying is not that difficult. These are the preset theories that you choose to use, and you can use one or another, it doesn't matter, right? However, when you bring the emotional aspect of being a human being, right? People with big empathy will have a lot of issues here. People with low ethical boundaries have very little issues here, right? So high ethical boundary in terms of adaptability, well, maybe the other way around, yeah. I mean, if you are not tolerant to most things, you know, if crypto is already scam and this and that, blah, 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 like crypto offers, if neutral products who sell weight loss pills is unethical, then you'll run into many problems, you know, and this is basically what you'll end up having. So I'll just make a little circle, you know, here is you, right? This is you, Ross. And then you have all these elements around it, right? Which is great, but people need to realize that these elements will always like float. So this will go here, this will go here. And what people want to do is they want to grab them and pull them into their circle, right? And if you pull these things into your space, like for example, an account manager, right, at a traffic source is a tool, not your partner, right? There's two different things. They treat them like, hey, my friend, it's not your friend. He's a business guy or she. All they do is make money for the company they work for, right? So they need to stick outside your circle and just do the job that they're supposed to be doing. So if you want whitelist, get the whitelist, right? But do not enter the circle of comfort. So if your business cannot run without him or her, you're fucked.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Very
And
true.
that's what people have, like, oh my God, they don't want to give me a pre-lender. Then find a pre-lender somewhere else. Ask your coach, because your coach is here with you in this system, right? Or your friend, or somebody else you know, or look on Google, or look on YouTube. There's so many resources out there, but instead they cry, right? And the biggest question that I hate personally is this, yeah?
Yeah, true.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
I know.
What you reckon?
Yeah, I know. It's like taking responsibility and taking the initiative is always like the fastest way to learn something. Like you can only read so many books on doing a press up. You can watch so many videos on doing a press up. You can watch someone doing a press up so many times, but nothing will get a press up done like actually getting down on the floor and getting it done.
You mean push up?
Push up, yeah. Press up, yeah.
Fucking Scottish, mate.
Yeah, man, Scottish. You know the crack. But yeah, like always waiting on an answer from an external source is basically you're just giving your power away to that external source. So you're never in full control of your circumstances, because if you're waiting on your coach to tell you what to do next, or your account manager to tell you what to do next, you're just forever sitting there with your hands.
And then you're already in a gifted position. If you have somebody coaching you, you're gifted, right? You have something that almost nobody else has, and still you're being a cunt. Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Because you have that opportunity. And don't get me wrong, like, we have people who work their ass off. Ross joined me, I think, in December last year. In 4 months, you showed amazing results, and now look where we are, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the other side of things.
Yeah.
So it can definitely happen that way, but 90 days is quite a short period of time. What you have at the end of the day is only 12 weeks. Then it sounds already 12 days. No, 12,
No.
12 weeks. Yeah. So it's in 12 weeks to be able to find the fastest way. The fastest way, I would say, the number one thing is action, right? You need to be in a constant state of performance where you have kids, you have a job, like all these things, they don't literally matter. What matters is that if you are working, you're not using your phone, you're not using this, you do that, you can accomplish great things in an hour and a half a day, right? 1 hour, 1 hour and a half a day is enough. Is enough. If you are actually working. If you're searching for images or just looking at things and like, maybe this is interesting. Maybe I'll just click on it. Maybe I'll just look at it. Click. Or you're actually scanning like, okay, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. Like bang, bang, bang. It's a way different mindset, right? That you're in, actually trying to, I don't know, achieve that goal that you desire,
Yeah, true.
So the action itself, what does it?
Yeah, I always feel like when it comes to the internet, especially social media, I know it's slightly off topic, but it's the same concept. Like, there's two types of people. You get consumers or creators, and creators are the ones that are making money, and consumers are the ones who are watching all the others make money.
Right. Yeah, you either sell or be sold, right? It's the book from Grant Cardone. It's a good book, actually. I read this one a couple of times already, but it's a very good book. Like, you either like Grant Cardone or you don't, but I think all his books are quite good and that he has very strong messages. You're always in a constant state. Right now, we're selling, right? You're consuming information, so you're being sold a specific theory. It doesn't have to involve money, but I'm telling you a theory that you will use. I'm selling you this story as per my own theory, right? That's how it goes. So all in all, like, ideally, if you are in looking for the fastest way to make money with native advertising, you want to be in the top section of the league. The testing phase cannot be longer than 2 weeks. Yes. So if you take more than 2 weeks to launch your first campaign, what are we doing? If something is wrong, and like in our situation, we would have mentioned it many times. You either suck at copywriting, you need to put in more time, you're being lazy, you're ghosting, you know, all these things.
Yeah.
Then you have optimization, it will run, right? So probably from week 1, maybe even week 2, let's just put down week 2 because the other one is less than 2 weeks, 2 week, let's say infinite, right? And the scaling, it doesn't happen until probably week 6 to 10, right? Once you have a good campaign going. But it means that each stage of the process is cut up in such a way that you have that opportunity to spend some proper time on things.
Yeah.
Because let's say 14 days, right? It means you have 14 hours to create one campaign. And we calculate before it would only take 4 hours. So now you have 3.5 times the average time, because that's not my time, right? I create a campaign in 20, 25 minutes, like a full campaign live on the ad exchange. And now you take 14 hours. Then what are we doing? You're not looking for the fastest way. You're looking for the easiest way, right? Or the way that fits you. And I would say that's very different.
True. Yeah, very true. Yeah. I think sometimes like creating a campaign and going through the intense part at the start, especially if you're new, like coming in and then like looking for images and you're finding it difficult. If you let your emotions get ahead of you and you let that take control, what ends up happening is you just end up putting up a bunch of shit just because you're that eager to get started and put up a campaign, and then you put. But
that was the guy from yesterday. I'm not gonna put any names to it, but that was the guy from yesterday.
Yeah, just probably. Desperate to get started, and it's like it's just.
But where does the desperation come from? Because you know that is something that I don't understand. I literally don't understand, because let me put out my amazing drawing again, because this is something I think I see this not that often. Yes, I see this maybe 10% of the time. 1 in 10 people is this, but they are here. Yes, make a little stick figure looking ass boy. Like look, they're here. And the goal is here, you know, like here, a little trophy, you know, little trophy. And, you know, they're supposed to be here on this marker, right? This is like the timeline, but they are here because the work hasn't been done properly, right? And the goal is here. But what is supposed to be, let's say, a 90-day time frame, because the speed has been slowed down, it just goes times 4, and now it's like 360 days, right? The time frame. So the question is, launching a campaign, or at least rushing that part of the system, what is the actual goal of this? I don't understand.
I know. I think people just see profits and they want to get to that profits, but they don't reverse engineer and realize that the hard work and is the skill. Like when people coming in for the 90 days, it's like, I think the hardest part trying to get over is a lot of people put it like this is the savior instead of this is the savior to earning money of my way of
because this is what they want, right? You want that trophy,
of course everybody wants that, but it's the skill. So like it's the skill you need to learn, the lifelong skill of being able to like go on, pick an offer, create great sub angles, come up with good creativity.
Okay, let me make it easy so everybody can understand this. Yes.
You're really good at these drawings, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been practicing.
Okay,
so the goblet of fire, for any Harry Potter fan, is on this pedestal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Yes, this is your 90-day project, right? Let's say it's 90 days for our sake. 90 days. Stick figure looking as guy is here. And along the way, you gather up these blocks, whether it's copywriting, whether it's images, whether it's learning how to test, optimize, buy data. And you need to pick up these blocks individually to be able to build this bitch, right? To get to that pedestal where you want to go. And if you don't pick up these blocks, then what happens is you are here, but you cannot pick up the goblet because it's at the top and you don't have what is required to be able to achieve these profits that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, lots of sense. Quite a good analogy. And the thing is what most people don't realize is they want to get to the goblet so fast, but in picking up these blocks along the way, it's you don't from there on in, it's like you're self-sustaining. You can,
well, and that's the method versus the skill, right? The skill would be the ability I had this guy this morning. Let me pull it up on my phone. It was a good question. I'm not going to lie. He said, what is the actual goal after the 90-day period? And this is somebody who's been under coaching. So I don't mind to repeat it. The goal is always to be able to create consistently profitable campaigns with a minimum ROI of 30%. That is the goal, right? And you need to pick up all the blocks to be able to get to that goal. Every block you don't pick up, the ROI goes down 15%. Right? So all of a sudden you don't pick up 4 blocks, which you were supposed to pick up. Now you're minus 30%, right? Yeah. So you need to make an additional investment. But it's a good question because it just rephrases what you're actually working towards, you know? When we get people, it's like, yeah, I have ran, let's say 4-figure native advertising campaigns, 4 figures a day, right? So that's anywhere from, let's say 1 to 9 grand a day. But I want to do 100 grand a day in the next month. The different scope of the business, you again get the blocks, right? Because this guy has a lot of experience. So again, you have the blocks, but these blocks are now matched up with a huge wall, right? Then you get 2 blocks and then you get another wall. And these walls are more money, more problem walls. Right, so you have to get the blocks, and then you make the jump over the wall. And these huge jumps are very big hurdles you will experience when you're dealing with more money. So 10K, so let's say 0 to 10K is one audience bracket, is what you serve, right, Ross? Then 10K to 100K is what I serve, but I also serve 100K to $1 million a month, right? The system doesn't differ, right? The system is still the same. The CPA rule, do this, do that. But on one part, there's no automation because the automation is expensive. But on $1 million per month ad spend, there's a lot of automation. But it means that to set up that automation will cost a lot of money and a lot of time. So you'll be stuck here. So you should be moving on, right? But you're stuck because either you have developers or you don't, or you have to learn how to do it yourself. So you're stuck on this hurdle. So you don't jump down, you jump far if you want to move, you know? And to be able to wedge this gap, you need money. And that's why people say, any business entrepreneur will say, it takes money to grow a business, right? Yeah. It doesn't take cash flow, it takes money. You need to invest that money, and cash flow will be a consistent flow of money. This is a money where there's no flow. You invest it and you won't get it back until a later stage where it goes up again. Yeah. So this is one prime example where we can put it into real context. Let's say you scale this bitch, yeah? So you make 10 grand here. You take this goblet. This is Ross's goblet. So you get a little certificate once you finish Ross, his project, 10 grand profit a month, yes? Oh yeah, we awesome, we gangsta, we did it, yeah? 10 grand profit. Okay, now Ross is like, well, I will help you, and they're so happy with you as a coach that you enter the project with them to get to 100 grand. Okay, so you scale, but they only run 2 products, right, from the same advertiser. All of a sudden, this advertiser says, hey, we have some billing problems with the processing of credit cards. You will not get paid this week, but we have to postpone the payment 1 week, right? Okay, big hurdle. Okay, so what do is you take out a short credit because you don't want to lose the ROI that you're making, right? You want to compound it as fast as possible. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you find a solution, a bank, another bank, and you can bridge the gap. All of a sudden, they say like, oh, hey, actually, the lead quality is not good, so we're not going to pay for those leads, right? Classic affiliate marketing advertiser. It will happen sooner or later. It has happened to me many times, but you need to cut a deal. So all of a sudden, now you're stuck here to make a deal, and the cash flow is done. You cannot run campaigns. You have no money. So you put all your trust. You learn a lot of things, right? Don't trust just one advertiser. Don't run just 2 offers. Spread across different networks. Like all these things that you will learn in this very short amount of time. You pick up all the boxes again. Look at this drawing, it's amazing. But then
just thinking that
you teach them that shit along the way, right? You teach them that shit along the way. And then what happens is you make that jump, right? And then you jump further. And all of a sudden the advertiser says, yeah, we cherish this relationship. Out of the 200 grand we owe you, we'll pay you 180 grand. Fine, you just take the 20 grand off your losses and you continue. So this is where you make the jump, right? If you say, okay, give me the 180 grand, I have to reevaluate my business, that's where you slow down. Right? Yeah. And that's obviously where we can offer some help, and then it grows, this and that. But it's a very different problem than having a network which says, yeah, from weekly payments, you didn't meet the payment capacity. We're going to pay you next week, right? To we're not going to pay you at all, and it's 200 grand. It's a very different problem. It's both a cash flow problem, but of a different level.
Yeah, very true.
And this is more about business, because this is what you experience in any business, not just affiliate marketing. People who don't pay, people who have major crises like this. And I feel like that this road that we say, the 90 days, I keep coming back to this, right? It's like the perfect example of anybody who wants to pursue this. I mean, if you're looking for the video, the fastest way to make money with native advertising, like this title, I assume that you are a beginner, right? Or you are ready to hustle. In that regard, you should know that like the boxes that we described are not just boxes. There are a lot of booby traps along the way, you know, like network you should not work with, whitelist, blacklist, all these things that can help you or work against you. However, look, he's very happy and he has some beautiful hair.
No stress at this point.
Yeah, no stress yet. And it is a laptop, you see, like cute little laptop. But what happens is that what we, I would say, underestimate is the simplicity. Yes. Yeah. Because we talk about so many things, bids, whitelist, blacklist. What we forget is that this business model is extremely easy, right? All it requires is one skill, and that is advertising. There are business models like warehousing, e-commerce, drop shipping, right, which have way more variables involved. They have customer service, they have cost of goods sold, they have all kinds of things. All we have is ad spend, one metric, right? I have consulted on an acquisition where they had 138 different expense posts, and these are journal posts, right? So they are like 100 grand each, which is fucking mad. Where I'm like, whoa, this business is so complex. They have a finance staff of 12 people. Well, of course, because the finance is mad. And this business model is so simple. So why would you stress over, they don't want to give me a whitelist? Well, will they give you a blacklist? Yes. Well, then take this, right? Or is there a different exchange that can give it to you? Right? It's very easy to look at the negative aspect of things, but you need to keep moving. We need to take action, because action is a dominant figure that will make, oh, hang on, I'll show you. So first, the first jump might be like this, right? But what happens is the jumps become bigger, right? And all of a sudden, now you're making big steps. Is that a good illustration there?
Yeah.
Where basically it's linear, right? It goes like this. And you grow as a person, you grow things, because if, this is the key lesson, yeah, I'm gonna write down, key lesson, which I want to take you away from this video. The key lesson in general is, business is hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? Native advertising is hard. If it was easy, more advertisers would do it. However, we are at a point in time where Google and Facebook is fucking all the affiliates, and native has an extreme opportunity of relative zero compliance, right? Where it is the dream of every advertiser right now to run your ads consistently, profitably, without having any major headaches. Because whereas Facebook might be extremely profitable, display, native are also extremely profitable, but they require a very different advertising approach.
Mm-hmm. True.
And I think that's great, because it's something that is not new, right? It has worked in the past, and it has worked for a long time. What would you say in terms of your experience, you know, because it has been a long time since I was excited about making a lot of money with actual media buying, right? Right now, money is still good, you know, from the media buying, but it's not something that excites me so much. And for you, I would assume any 10, 50 grand paycheck, it's still exciting times, good times, you know.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest benefit about that initial reward when you receive that money, accomplishment sense or whatever?
It's like relief, like all your hard work, your early mornings, your late nights, your sacrifices that you made, it was all worth something, and that you'd achieved it. And this is a really shit analogy. This is going to be a shit analogy, but it's always like, I always think getting those big paychecks and stuff, to me, it's never been about, like, don't get me wrong, it's good having the money and shit, but I mean, like, it's always been about, to me, what it represents. Like when you see this is a shit analogy, shit metaphor, but when you see a bodybuilder and he's in such good shape, and you look at him, and I was looking in the mirror, mate. I was when you see him in such good shape, it's not like we see that, but only someone who's been through that process knows what it takes, like hard work, discipline, humility, sacrifice, all these different things. And that's what super affiliates, top affiliates, people who are making it in this business. That's what all that stuff represents. People just see the end product of the big paychecks, but no one sees the actual,
Right.
the hard
Well,
work.
I would say, yeah, if you become addicted to the struggle, you know, when people say like, you look tired, right? I get it a lot. I have my glasses, but when I take my glasses off, people always tell me like, oh, I left the little Asian eyes, so but from nature. But
Yeah.
they say like, you look tired. Well, I am tired, but I've always been tired. It's not like when people say, oh, you're gonna have a burnout, you're gonna have this. It's not like that. But at the end of, I have this like sleeping app, right? Like the sleep cycle. I'm always
Yeah.
asleep within, I think, 8 minutes of going into my bed. It takes 8 minutes. The average person takes 25 minutes to an hour, right? For me, it's 8 minutes and I'm in deep sleep. The reason being is because I actually do shit in a day. You know, I test my mental capacity every single day. A lot of people have a brain but don't use it because they just are served with information on a daily basis, right? And the question is, where you get, well, what do we refer you, Ross? Like, I mean, come on, like 500 headlines a day, and you have to rate them one by one, right?
Yeah.
So you have to read every sentence. That is tough on the mind, yes? Then you get 1,000 images. Fortunately, half of the images I've already seen before, right? Which makes it a little bit easier. They're batched together, so it's a little bit easier. But I would say that's like the spark in your mind where, well, let me extend the drawing a little bit, because I like these drawings. I want to buy like the sketch pad where I can just draw with a pencil. But
Oh yeah.
again, you have this circle of your mind and you have all these things going on around it. Same thing again. And for some people, it will always look like this, right? And that's not a problem. And for other people, the circle is like this, and it includes way more elements inside. And that's why they say entrepreneurship is lonely, because a lot of people cannot comprehend or relate to what you're doing, because these bulbs, which is like money, stocks, anything when you have money which relates to, it's not in their circle, right? Their circle is Monday to Friday we work, and it's Friday evening we go for drinks. Saturday I'm hungover. Saturday afternoon I go for drinks. Maybe I visit my niece who had a baby, blah, 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 blah. It's all like social interactive engagement, and then entertainment. Entertainment is also very high. Gaming, Netflix, all these things.
Yeah.
Whereas I have 6 working days a week, right? 6, not 5. So then I have one day. On one day I visit family because that's important for me, right? So I visit my parents every Sunday. Then what I do is I do have some entertainment, right? Usually either 30 minutes or an hour in the evening, or let's say 2 hours on a Sunday, right? Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But I also review things like staking of crypto, like anything that has not to do with my direct money or anything that's like hobby, right? It has my interest, but it's not that important for me. So then I'll look at staking. But what you'll see is that it's all related somehow to the foundation which we have created here.
Yeah, true.
Where this is more, yeah, this is just, but what I see, or at least what I would say general people see as well, is that all the people in their circle, they stick together because they have the same kind of flow. And then what people say, money doesn't change me. Well, it shows you who you really are. That's one. And it also changes your behavior in terms of how you portray yourself to the world and how you engage with the world, right? Yeah. Because we can be sure of it. If you have no money, you are in a situation, and when you have 10 million, you can still be a good guy, right? Give money to charity or whatever. But the question is, you are more dominant in your confidence, and you are confident to say what you think is a good guy. You know, giving money to charity, in my opinion, doesn't make you a good guy, because that money could be blood money, right? The charity could be your own foundation you use for tax benefits, and then you shell the money back to your private Bahama Islands. You know, and that's what people don't realize, but that's how I think. That's why I have an opinion on everything, right? But I share my opinion regarding non-business material almost never, right? You know, we talk about the OnlyFans, we talk about the transgender, the ethical equations about skin color, race. I have an opinion on everything, but you'll never hear my opinion because it doesn't matter. right? The thing is, you can never win in this argument. And I think people should be aware that this is what you should be dealing with. If you're looking to build a business, especially with native advertising, then your brain, your mind is all about native advertising. It's not about Donald Trump. It's not about Biden, because those things are at the moment directly out of your control.
Yeah, irrelevant. Yes? Yeah.
They're irrelevant to what you want to accomplish. And once you have accomplished this goal, you can set new goals. You can be the next president of the United States of America. We don't necessarily care about this. You should be within your bubble.
Yeah, I think a circle of influence has a lot to do with it. Like, I remember when I first got started online, like, it's just a basic thing. I mean, if your circle of influence is, if you're going to messing around with 9 smokers, you will become the 10th. If you're messing around with 9 media buyers, you will become the 10th. Do you know what I mean? Like, you will become your
right.
So it's like, change your circle of influence. Like, I had to slightly do that when I first got started online, because like, my background, my culture that I grew up in was not this. And this game, it's a lonely game, but I wanted it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was...
I think the general point of view for most people, right, who have no rich parents, which I think is at this day and age, like 85-90% of the entrepreneurs, is you're told to save money, and therefore it's very scary for people to spend money, right?
Sure.
I've already spent so much money on this campaign. What's going to happen? Like, the insecurity of not having money is something that, as soon as you, in my opinion, right, as soon as you let go of the fact that you're spending money and that it could go wrong, that is where everything goes right.
Yeah.
Right? That is when the moment you make money, when you're not scared to lose money.
Yeah.
I made a investment last year, which turned out to be a fucking nightmare. But gave me, it cost me about 38 grand. So it's not that big of a deal, but for most people it is. It gave me an idea of what not to do. So I did the exact opposite. And in less, that took a year, right? So 52 weeks. And then 3 weeks, which is 5% of that specific time, I made 100 grand of a new idea, right? But I got that idea off the specific bad investment earlier, and I just did the opposite, what you shouldn't have done. Right? But you can never know what you should have done if you're not doing something.
Yep, exactly.
Right? And that is the thing, you know, we have an MP calculator for 2 hours. We could educate people on how to do native advertising, perhaps get some clients, perhaps get no clients. It's fine, you know, share our information with the world, because that is half of our business, right? News, that kind of stuff, video content material about native advertising. Or we could just have a joke and sip some coffee. That's the question. Is it labor that you're in? Do you have passion? Do you want to do this? All these different things. Or are you in it to just chill? Because if you're in it to just chill, you should probably be a bank robber or something. That would be a lot more efficient.
Yeah, true.
Right? You just have to do one job for like maybe 2 hours, and then you can either chill in prison for 15 years or you chill with the money for 15 years, right?
Yeah, fuck prison, mate.
Yeah, and then this is hard work, and that's why I think it's great. I'll leave you guys here. If you have an opinion on the fastest way to make money with native advertising, if you 100% agree with what we're saying, or even more fun, disagree, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Ross, for being here today.
Good to be
and
here.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.